Hi everyone! Thank you for joining me for another lesson today. DSU online lesson here on my YouTube channel. I'm Paul. It's Tuesday morning. It's September 15th. Wow, middle of September. Going by so fast. It's a beautiful day right now. And just having a cup of coffee. And I wanted to talk about some different hobbies, different activities that we may enjoy doing, maybe some activities that we don't like doing. Maybe talk about how often we do them as well. If you have the textbook, you got the textbook, right? Come on, you got the textbook. This is Unit 2. Unit 2 is about nightlife and entertainment. Really, we're just going to sort of talk about your weekends, okay? The things you often do on the weekend. Maybe things you don't do as well. So how should we start? Well, let's start by talking about some different sports and activities like that. So, one of the things you may enjoy doing on the, one of the things you may enjoy doing on the weekend is playing sports. Now, with some sports, we say we play these sports. You play basketball. You play badminton. Okay. Other sports, however, we don't use the verb to play. We don't say play skiing or play swimming. Okay. I got them on the board here. Some activities we say that you go to do. You go skiing. You go swimming. You go hiking. You go bowling. So you can see they all end with ing. That's the gerund. And that's a common thing. When you use the verb to go, it's usually one of these things. Often it's because you have to go someplace special in order to do them. Okay? You have to go to a mountain in order to either go skiing or hiking. You have to go to the sea or to a swimming pool in order to go swimming. You have to go to a bowling alley in order to go bowling. Okay? With some other sports, you can kind of do them in many places. You don't have to go someplace special to do them. Also, the other thing is most of these, bowling is an exception, but well, hiking isn't really a sport anyway. But with skiing and swimming, they're sports, but we have swim races and stuff. Okay. If you're swimming, you might not be competing in a sport. You may just be swimming for exercise. You may just be swimming for fun. And skiing is the same. Okay. Bowling, as I say, is a little bit different because it is actually closer to one you play. With sports you play, badminton, basketball, soccer, table tennis, and many others. Also computer games too. You play computer games. But with these sports, in the case of basketball and soccer and baseball as well, they're all what we call team sports. So you play on a team. Okay. In badminton and table tennis, you play against a person. Okay? There's another player playing with you. Yeah, you don't often have to go to a special place to play these as well. Koreans often play badminton outside. They don't even use a net. They may just play at the park or something. Same with soccer, at a school or something. Okay? To play basketball, you just need a basketball hoop. Could be anywhere. Table tennis, you need a table. But you don't really have to go to a special place in order to play them. But yeah, in each case, all of these, you win a game by scoring points and stuff. But that's not the case with these. Okay. So yeah, some activities you go to do, and others you play. Okay. Well, actually, I guess we could just look at this a little bit more. So, do you like these sorts of things? What do you think of these different activities? Do you enjoy? Well, in my case, no, I don't like skiing. I like swimming, but I don't do it very much. Hiking's okay for me sometimes, a little. Bowling, not much. It's okay, but not much. Badminton's good. I like badminton. I like basketball. I'm terrible. I like to watch soccer, but I'm a terrible player. No. Table tennis, it's okay. I don't play much. So, like if, I might ask you, how often do you play these sports or games or whatever? How often do you do these? How often do you go skiing? In my case, I would say I never go skiing. Don't like it. Not for me. I tried it, but I don't like it. Okay. Let's try another one. How often do you play badminton? How often do you play badminton? In my case, I sometimes play badminton. Not much, but yeah, sometimes. So yeah, that's the thing we're going to talk about, like with your hobbies, weekend activities, and how often you do them. Okay? This might be pretty easy. Some of this maybe you've already learned before, maybe in high school or somewhere. So sorry if it's too easy, but I think it's a good activity to do early in the semester just to see your English level. So there's sort of 5 really common ones that we're going to look at. We got always, usually, sometimes, rarely, never. Now, it can be sometimes helpful if you put some number or something next to each one, but just it should just be to help you. Don't these numbers don't really mean that much, particularly for the ones in the middle. Always is something you do 100% of the time. Okay? I always take a shower at night before bed. Always. Every night. I always drink coffee in the morning. Every morning I drink coffee. So, yeah. And indeed, never is the opposite. You don't do it. Okay? I never drive to work. Well, I don't like driving. I don't really drive much, and my wife has the car, so. In fact, I don't drive at all, actually. Yeah, my wife has the car, so I never drive to work. Yeah. Well, now, for me, I never drink beer. I used to drink beer, but I got a health problem. In Korea, you call it tongpung. I had it in my foot, so I quit drinking beer. So yeah, now I never drink beer. So almost 4 years since I quit beer. Yeah, the numbers in the middle for usually, sometimes, and rarely, I don't know, they can change a little bit. But just think of usually as like 80, sometimes as 50, rarely as 20. But yeah, like the numbers don't really mean that much. So yeah, always is something you do every time, every night, every day, whatever. Usually, most of the time. Okay? I usually brush my teeth 4 times a day. Most of the time I do. Sometimes, or rarely, 3 times, but usually I do 4. Sometimes might be like half the time. So sometimes you do it, sometimes you don't. I think you know sometimes. Rarely, just a little bit, not much, but you do it a little. And then never, you don't do. There's some other terms that can be used. The textbook, which I know you all bought, also mentions often. I tend to think often and usually are pretty close, though. So you don't really need to worry about using often and usually. They're almost the same. Oops. Occasionally, I think is pretty close to sometimes. Another one is seldom, which is just like rarely, so not often. And an interesting one that doesn't really fit with the rest. But if you can try to use this in a speaking activity or test or something, I'll probably give you a good score. Regularly. Regularly is different from something like always, because regularly is something you maybe don't do often, but you still do it every time. Or, not every time, but you still do it a lot. Like, for example, I mentioned brushing your teeth. Going to the dentist, the tooth doctor, going to the dentist is something you should do regularly. So you don't go a lot. You don't go see the dentist many times, but you should go, they say, I think you should go 2 times a year, twice a year. So like that. But maybe don't worry too much about that. There's not many times when you need to use regularly. Maybe, like in my case, I would say I regularly go to the library. So I don't often go to the library, but I go maybe once a month. So that's kind of a regular thing, but it's not often, if that makes sense. And it's that way even if it doesn't make sense. Okay, so maybe I'll kind of tell you. There's going to be a little homework, just 1 page, pretty easy. I'll share some examples of it to explain it to you, and then after that, I'll just tell you a little about the speaking activity on our Friday lesson. please put the correct preposition of frequency. So these are, I didn't say that before, these are called the prepositions of frequency. Prepositions of frequency. Usually they go right after the subject of the sentence. So I always drink coffee. He usually meets his friends. They rarely go hiking. Okay, so you put it after the subject I, he, she, you, they, we. Okay. I'll show you a couple examples here. But it should be pretty easy. I think I made a nice easy one for you. So number one looks like this. I blank, so preposition of frequency would go here, meet my friends on Saturdays. And then it has a little number afterwards. So that number should represent number should represent usually, so you would put I usually meet my friends on Saturdays. Yeah, there's 10 of those. I think that's pretty easy, right? The second part is, for you to write a sentence. Similar types of topics. Actually, the first one is the same. How often do you meet your friends on Saturdays? So you can say, I always meet my friends, usually meet my friends, sometimes meet my friends, rarely meet my friends, or never. This can be with the situation with COVID, Corona, or not. I don't care, whatever. Just answer anything, I don't care. So yeah, there's 5 where you write a sentence as well. So I think that's pretty easy. Excuse me. I think that's all I got to say for this today. There may be more next time though. So on I'm going to send out more information later in the week, but on Friday we're going to have a one-on-one Q&A. Actually, I better write this on the board too. So not Zoom. I think it's better if I talk to each of you individually. One-on-one Q&A, okay? And I'm going to talk to each of you for maybe about 5 minutes, okay? This will just be a cacao. So I'll probably send you my cacao ID, either today or maybe later in the week. I'll send you my phone number and my cacao ID. I'll send out a message. And then for the class time, we have, our class is like 4 p.m. on Friday, is that right? I think so. So maybe we can start it a little early if you want to. Maybe we can start at about 3 or 3:30 or something. So if anybody wants to call early, that's okay. But but yeah, from about maybe we can say from 3 until 5:30, you can have a chance to call me on Kakao, and we'll talk for about 5 minutes. There'll be a score. There'll be a score for it. I'll just talk to you a little. Just get to know you a little bit, and I might review some of these prepositions of frequency as well. So I might ask you about how often you do some activities. Okay. I guess, sorry, the other thing, going back now, the prepositions of frequency, it's not really part of today's homework, but the other important thing is to answer the question why, or why not. Last week we were talking about follow-up questions, meeting someone for the first time, getting to know them, and asking follow-up questions. So if you're talking about these, how often you do different activities, hobbies and whatever, you might ask a person, let's take, how often do you go see a movie on the weekend? Okay, maybe I'll write that down. How often do you go to a movie on the weekend? How often do you go to a movie on the weekend? So you can give any of the answers. I always go to a movie on the weekend, usually, sometimes, rarely, never. After that, I might ask you why. Why do you never go to a movie? So you would have to try to give me an answer like you don't have any money, you don't have any time, not interested, don't like movies, whatever. No movie theater nearby. Or if you always go, you can say, oh, I love movies, my favorite activity. So when we have this one-on-one Kakao meeting, when I talk to each of you on Friday, I'll ask you about how often you do some weekend activities, and I might also ask you why. Or maybe I may do some more of those sorts of follow-up questions that we talked about last week. So if I ask you how often do you go to a movie on the weekend, if you say always, I might ask, what's your favorite? What's your favorite movie, or who's your favorite movie star, or something? So I may ask you some follow-up questions about different activities. But I'll try to make it an easy one because this is our first speaking activity. I'll try to be nice with scoring. So yeah, just try to call me on Kakao on Friday afternoon. Maybe I will start. Maybe we can start it at 3 p.m. I'm free. I'm free before our class, so it's okay with me if you want to have it a bit early. But yeah, so that day maybe there won't be an online lesson. Our lesson will just be this speaking activity. Okay? I think that's all I got to say today. Feels like I'm forgetting something, but if I think of it, I'll post it later. So maybe it's okay. So that's all for today. Hope you enjoy the nice weather, because we may get more rain. We're sure getting a lot of rain this year. This summer. So try and enjoy the nice weather if you can, and I'll talk to you later on in the week. Okay? All right. Well, good talking to you all, and see you next time. Bye-bye.